We're recording.
Hello!
Wait,
are we recording?
We are recording.
Well,
Hey everybody! It's Precarious Pixels. I'm Tim. With me as always is...
hey, I'm Bob. And with me as always is Tim. And these voices in my head.
And the voices in your head. Oh, that leads into something we will be talking about later.
Yeah.
But first, we're going to talk about some stuff that we've been watching. So a lot of new stuff that's come out, and a few movies, TV shows, some new platforms that are proposing weird new shows. So
Yeah.
we'll get to that. But first, the thing that just came out like a couple days ago with like no preamble. Usually they have like a big announcement for these kind of things. But they put up the trailer for She-Hulk.
Yep.
Attorney at Law. Remember that. She-Hulk. Attorney at Law.
I'm
Wait.
trying to think if I saw one shot of her in the courtroom in that trailer.
There is.
There's one?
There's a couple.
Okay.
And that would be Tatiana Maslany.
No, I know she is. She's
Okay.
Orphan Black.
Orphan Black. Awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing in Orphan Black.
Is she funny in that?
She is funny.
Okay.
And she was also in Parks and Rec. She played
Little
What?
Sebastian.
What?
What?
No. That would be amazing. If she played Little Sebastian, it was like, they were wasting her on Orphan Black. She should have played a horse, too.
Pony?
Pony.
I don't actually know what they consider Little Sebastian. I just know the song.
Yeah. You want to sing some of
No,
the song?
I don't. But I do
Come
like
on.
the song.
I know. We all love the song. And we all love Little Sebastian. And the hologram of Little Sebastian. Oh my god. That whole thing was just amazing. But, probably, so, She-Hulk. What do you actually know about She-Hulk?
I know that in the modern comics,
Yes.
they've made it into a more comedic courtroom series. I don't even know if it's comedic as much, but I definitely know that they went with, it's about her fighting for criminals that are superheroes, mostly, as a defense attorney.
Yes.
And that's, basically she's the answer to Daredevil if he was known for being a superhero.
Right.
As opposed to just being Matt Murdock.
Right. Alright. So, She-Hulk has had the weirdest history as a character.
I have one question before we go further.
Go ahead.
Can she transform back?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, this show sucks. But go on.
Okay. Alright, so the first thing that she was introduced was She-Hulk. She's like a cousin to Bruce Banner. She gets into an accident. I think it's like something that like the mafia is trying to knock her off because she's a lawyer or something representing somebody that was going to take down the mafia. They try to kill her.
Sorry, she's related to Bruce Banner first?
Yes.
Okay.
So she's his cousin. She gets hurt. Her blood type is matched to Bruce Banner's blood type. She gets a blood transfusion.
It's gamma positive.
And she gets the Hulk powers by accident, basically.
That's not what's happening here.
Yeah, well, maybe. Because I saw some car flipping in this trailer, so that might happen. We'll see.
I hope she ties like the equivalent of a harp of like strings in front of a cave of Hulks.
Yes. Well, he literally says, "Hey, cuz," to her when they're on his little island.
I just thought he was trying to like
no,
be hip.
Literal cousin. So, so when she was first introduced, the character was like, okay, She-Hulk. It was kind of whatever. Kind of goes away for a little while. Then an artist named John Byrne decides, I'm going to... What?
One word?
John Byrne?
Oh, John Byrne.
John Byrne. Decides, I'm going to make this character... I think this was probably late 80s, early 90s. He was like, I'm going to take this character and do something really interesting with it. She's going to be the only character in Marvel that knows she is actually in a comic book. Which is, she is like fourth wall breaking. It was like way before Deadpool, way before any of these other characters did any of that stuff. Very meta. She was like, literally like, she would just say on her covers like, oh, I guess I'm wearing a bathing suit for this issue. guess check it out, fanboy. I guess this is the fan service you want. Like she would literally
Whoa.
talk.
Why is she so angry?
She's a She-Hulk, but
But she doesn't seem that way in the trailer.
yeah, but it's it's kind of one of those things. And also she go ahead.
Sorry, this is in the MCU, just as a reminder.
Yeah.
And she doesn't seem that way in the trailer. Go on.
Okay, so this version lasts for a while. She still does all the same stuff, lawyer, but mostly she's always She-Hulk. She never really changes back into Jennifer Walters, like ever. Then I'd say it was probably she's kind of like bounced around for a while. Shows up, well, another like different artist teams try to take cracks at her, but it's never quite as funny as when John Byrne was doing it. Then a guy comes up with a kind of new thing where um, she's kind of this weird celebrity superhero, but uh, she's hired by somebody who wants Jennifer Walters, the lawyer, more than they want She-Hulk because she has a good legal mind, and that becomes more of like it's the Ally McBeal. She is a superhero, but she also does change back and forth. But sometimes she's not that, and that runs through different teams. They're always kind of interesting how that goes. Sometimes she's just like a small time attorney. Sometimes she's working for a big firm. It's kind of like this weird Ally McBeal, Law and Order ish kind of like thing.
I mean, let's stick with the Law and Order. I don't know how much Ally McBeal.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. This take seems to be somewhere in between.
It's definitely Ally McBeal.
Definitely like the Ally McBeal, but also like it's funny, but also kind of superhero-y. But I think this trailer was made for like, hey, check out She-Hulk, it's going to be action. I have a feeling this is going to be more of a lawyer show than anything else. This is going to be like Boston Legal, where she's dealing with weird characters, and she's kind of a funny character herself. And she kind of gets this thrust into, I also might have to be a superhero on top of being like just a regular lawyer representing supervillains, superpowered people, that kind of stuff. Which I would kind of be down for if that's what they're going to do. You're shaking your head. You're like,
I mean, I'd love that.
Yeah.
I'd love a more serious but still slightly comedic Harvey Birdman.
Yes.
Because that's what I hear when you say this.
Yes, that's kind of what I was thinking this was going to be. I have a feeling this is going to be funnier. This trailer, which also it kind of looked like to me a little bit the effects weren't finished.
Yeah.
Because this was, so I think it's, by the time around we're doing this, they're doing the TV upfronts. Basically, all the companies are coming out. It's like, these are our new TV shows, blah, 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 blah. They have nothing else ready at the moment.
It comes out in August, though.
Right.
Right?
And this could be around the time that they're doing it, but I have a feeling they weren't done yet because it still looks a little bit weird. Like her hair, if you look at it, there's parts where it doesn't seem to move at all. And hair is kind of like a thing you kind of have to massage when you're doing 3D effects. Because the physics to like actually manage it to make it work are very weird. But yeah, I think it's basically like we're going to show you another trailer in probably a month or so where it's going to be like more of the funny parts of this, or what it's actually going to be about. I think it's going to be like a more of a comedy show. Just the fact that it's like She-Hulk, attorney at law, is not just, and it's not just She-Hulk. I think they're going to, and I think she's funny anyways. Tatiana Maslany plays like funny parts and stuff, so I think that's what this is going to go for.
I got one thing that
Okay, go ahead.
is like
Shoot.
glaring with this trailer.
Shoot.
She looks like a cartoon character.
Exactly.
I've never seen. That's not true. In several years, I've not seen such bad CGI in anything MCU.
You're right.
Now, we had bad CGI in Mandalorian Season 2.
Yes.
Or Season 1, sorry.
Season 1.
Right? Yeah. No, 2.
Which was?
It was the end of 2.
Yeah. Probably.
I don't want to spoil anything. The character that comes back. That's
Okay.
supposed to look young.
Yeah.
It's rough.
It is.
But I've never seen anything that looks so jarring.
Hmm.
Because Hulk, right? He's this big green monstrosity.
Right.
he still looks like he's in the world he's in.
Right.
This is like Who Framed Roger Rabbit in those shots.
Exactly.
They gotta fix it.
They do. And I think that's what this thing, they rushed it out because I think the only other thing they announced was the Secret Wars show with Samuel L. Jackson, which just had Samuel L. Jackson come out and talk about it. No footage was shown, nothing. So this was pretty much their only two things that they could really do. And I'm guessing that the She-Hulk was probably the stuff they had the most done.
Yeah, but just show the shots of her not green.
Yeah. But I think they're trying to get people excited about it and like blah, blah, blah.
You do one shot at the end that's green, and then there you go.
Yeah. That should have been their focus, was just like to maybe like build up to like showing her in the suit, or showing not in the suit, but as She-Hulk. But I think they wanted to put more out there, and I don't think it looked ready enough. Like, it's close, but it looks more like regular TV close and not Disney Plus close kind of stuff. When you do Marvel stuff like this, yeah, you need to be a little bit more polished.
They should look at this moment, because of everything that just recently happened with Netflix, like all the you saw that massive hit they took.
Oh yes, but they're not like, it's not like they're down and out or anything. They still have.
They're certainly not. But like, you're Disney, you're spiking the ball.
Yeah.
You don't spike the ball like this.
Yeah.
Especially not when Netflix still has so much that they have going for them. They just had that. I think that Ryan Reynolds movie did pretty well. The sci-fi one he made.
Oh, the Adam Project?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And that guy, I think, is going to be the guy that works with him on Deadpool 2 or 3. Because that they did Free Guy together, they did the Adam Project together, and I think Deadpool 3 is going to be their next one. Which was, I think, the other announcement that just happened. Which is, there was like a post on the, I forget what, probably Ryan Reynolds thing, like, it's like, hey, just figured out all the product placement for the Deadpool 3. Next comes the script and characters.
That's awesome.
Which I love. I was like, yeah. I love that he kind of takes shots at that stuff. I love it. But yeah. So
it seemed like, okay. I don't know if there's a spot in that trailer where I laughed.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I'm the intended audience. And that's weird to me.
Yeah. Who knows?
Because this might be the first time that I'm not the target market.
Okay.
For something MCU.
No, I agree. But it definitely, I think they're going to try to extend out some of the comedy stuff, which is also funny because Daredevil's definitely showing up in this. Because they've already, like, there's been, I guess, some leaked stuff where he's been on set. As, what's his name? Charlie Cox? No. Yes. Yeah.
Daredevil?
The actual Daredevil. The Netflix Daredevil, which is now the MCU Daredevil. Because he showed up in Spider-Man No Way Home. Spoiler alert. But
this is a spoiler.
Yeah. And now they've announced that there's going to be another Daredevil show that they're going to be doing.
That's good.
Yeah. And with Vincent D'Onofrio showing up on the Hawkeye show, I figured he's probably going to come back around.
Well, after they've shown how willing they are to take it to more R-rated extremes.
Yes.
In another recent show they had.
Yes.
I can see that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like that segue.
Yes, I do. So we're going to talk about a little bit of Moon Knight.
Yeah. No.
No?
I mean, Moon Knight was, it started out so promising. I was very disappointed.
I have mixed feelings. That it's true. The beginning was very, very strong. Very strong. And then the ending, well, not so much the ending, when we got to the asylum, I almost felt like you didn't need to do that. That's like kind of like you're pulling like a fast one. We've already accepted that he's in this reality. It almost felt like they were trying to like, oh, but could he actually be like this all be in his head? And I was like, let's not do that. Because I get what you're trying to do. They did do versions of this in the comic where he was in an asylum. There was like a whole thing where he thought he wasn't Daredevil, or not Daredevil, Moon Knight, and they had that whole thing. But we got into a point where we had already accepted the character as they are, and I think trying to mess with that was a bit of a mistake. But it was what it was.
Yeah, it was something.
It was something.
I've never been. I've never been so disappointed in the stupid twist ending.
Yeah, and spoiler alerts if you haven't watched Moon Knight, we'll get into that. So, you're talking about the third personality,
Yeah.
which he
Like
does.
you already knew it.
Yeah, we already knew that there was a third personality kind of like stuck in there.
Did they try and make the second personality that you see? What's his name? Mark Spector.
Mark Spector, which is the prime personality.
Yeah, but it's the second one you see.
Yes.
Because before that, you only see his name Stephen
Graham.
Stephen Graham. You only see him, and then you see this you see the aftermath of a second personality.
Right.
You think.
But
now, are they trying to say that Mark Spector is not, because he has to be the hero, he's not going to just randomly kill people that are trying to kill him? Because then he does that.
He does do that.
But
I think
are they trying to save that character as the good guy?
I think they're trying to. Well, the thing of it is, he was a soldier, and I think it's not that he's not comfortable with it. It's just that like the part where they're walking through his mind and he remembers everybody he's ever killed, and how that messes with him. I think is like what they're trying to demonstrate. Like he regrets like all those kills in some way. Because the fact that his brother was in there with them, like every person who's ever been killed by him, on purpose or accident.
We're not even gonna. I'm gonna go into another plot hole here, right?
Okay, go ahead.
This is a big one.
Gotcha.
An entire episode of the show is devoted to them trying to escape from the underworld,
Yes.
and they need to find a balance of their two hearts.
Very yes.
But there's a third one.
There's a third one.
So what?
So that is kind of
they succeed.
yes.
What?
Yeah.
The
That is kind of
hippopotamus,
like-
the all-seeing hippopotamus, doesn't know there's a third one there.
Yes. That is kind of a weird one too. I was just like, because that was also the thing. There's like, oh, you guys have to air all your dirty secrets and like kind of like show each other what's actually going on. But then again, so what's going on with Jake? Is he really just not part of the? I don't know how they're going to represent that if they do a season 2, because at this point he only signed up to do this show. Like there's no. He didn't sign up to be like, hey, I'm going to be Moon Knight for 2 seasons and any need to show up in any movies or anything like that. That has not been talked about yet. So where does this kind of go?
Then we have the line that I hate in the show. Can you guess what it is? It's almost the worst line in the history of anything. Because the worst line is still, "They're alive like me" in Jurassic World 2, whatever it was called.
Was it Dominion? No, not Dominion. That's the new one coming, right?
Yeah.
I don't. Not Lost. Not Lost.
Doesn't matter. Jurassic World 2, we're calling it. I might even call it Jurassic Park 5.
Yes.
That line.
Extinction? Was it Extinction? I don't remember.
They're alive like me.
Right.
Can you guess what the line that's almost as bad in this show is?
What?
Are you an Egyptian superhero? She looks at the girl for a second and
Yes.
says that that's the first thing she thinks.
Yes.
Nobody thinks like that.
It was.
The chaos going on
I
around
know.
her.
It was a little bit. I understand why they did it.
A little bit.
It was a little bit shoehorned in there. It was fine. I was just like, okay, I get it, but you've been building this up a little bit. So she actually is based off a character called I think it's the Red Scarab. Because they kept throwing in like the oh you're my little scarab like her father thing. He has the red scarf. Blah blah
Has
blah.
anybody ever liked a scarab?
I like the scarab. Who doesn't? They
Do
used
they
to
just
worship.
feed on corpses?
They used to worship them
All
in
right, just
Egypt.
checking. Okay, no, go ahead.
All right. Yeah. So I was just like, all right, so that's what she's going to be, the red scarab, and
Okay.
going forward. Yada yada yada.
There's nothing red about her outfit, was there?
No, but I have a feeling they're going to go with that because of her father wore the red scarf or whatever. And I think it had scarabs on it. They kind of throw that in there like every so often. There's like little Easter eggs with it. But
Good news: only 14 species of scarabs eat flesh.
okay, only 14. All right,
We're
cool.
good.
That would be an amazing gimmick. That's her thing. It's like, oh, by the way, you have to eat an entire person
I
to,
have
to,
a
to
feeling
have your
that's not going
powers.
to be her thing.
Oh, I'd love that if that was her thing. And she'd be like, why did I agree to this? I didn't realize that I was going to get all these other problems to be also have superpowers. But, so, Moon Knight,
It was all right.
it was alright. It had, the only thing that I have to say that I really liked about it, I didn't have to know anything else to watch this.
Yeah, it wasn't connected at all.
Wasn't connected to anybody. I don't think they mentioned any of like the blip, the anything with the Avengers. I don't think they. Maybe one point I think mentioned. I don't think they mentioned Thanos. No. So none of that. So none of that is mentioned, even though this takes place after all of that.
Well, this is the MKCU.
The MKs, the universe.
Yeah.
No.
It's canon.
Yes, sure. Moon Knight Cinematic Universe. Cool. I do like that they actually played Khonshu as he kind of is portrayed as kind of a jerk and kind of mistreats them. Like even his avatars who were kind of doing him a favor basically. Um, but yeah, I I hope they do another season because maybe they could iron out some of the stuff that's going on.
Oh, gee, I hope there's a giant god fight.
Yeah, which I was just like, do people actually see that happening?
Yeah.
I don't think
because they
so.
were looking at it.
No, I
weren't
thought
they?
they were looking at them.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's really strange. It was really strange. It had some good moments though. I like
Slow motion.
the turning back the sky thing.
Yeah,
I
was
love
cool.
that. The I think was it in the first? Was it in the first? Yeah. So it was the first episode where he basically falls asleep and like wakes up and his like jaw is dislocated
Yeah.
and he's like trying to get out of that town like and he keeps like blinking back and forth. I kind of love that a lot. That was
All the
fun.
early stuff was great.
Yeah.
It's when they started showing everything that it became a problem.
Yeah, when it kind of like starts to size up, I always find this kind of like thing that happens. It's like you're telling a good story, and then you maybe go a little bit too big, and then it just becomes like almost the end of like every thing where it's like a big superhero fight, which is nice, but it's also like, what is this action actually getting towards, kind of thing.
It's Bird Box disorder.
Bird Box.
Bear with me.
Okay.
So, if you saw Bird Box,
Yeah, that's the one with Sandra Bullock, right?
Yeah. If you guys haven't seen Bird Box, the best thing about it is that you never see the monsters. Like that mystery makes that movie.
Right.
And in Moon Knight's case, like the mystery of not knowing how these things keep happening,
Right.
make this much better.
Right.
When you have in Moon Knight the mystery of what keeps happening to him,
Mm-hmm.
the more that unravels, the less interesting it is.
Yes.
And then it gets to a point where they try and throw that in the last episode.
Right.
And even if, okay, I'm going to spoil a big part of Moon Knight for you.
Yes. Spoiler alert.
Even if you don't know how he knocks out, what's his name?
Ethan Hawke?
Ethan Hawke's character. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't remember his name.
Uh,
Long-haired staff man.
yes. I call him Marlon Brando from Island of Dr. Moreau.
Oh, that's fair. MBFIODM.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a no. Marlon Brando. Even if
Yes.
he knocks out Marlon Brando and tries to kill him, because it looks like he puts an axe in his head.
Well, he's about to. I think it
No,
was.
but it looked like there was an axe
Oh,
mark
okay.
in his head. So
Oh,
if he
okay.
hit it with like the other side, I don't know.
Maybe.
That's the guy that's working for him, because otherwise you've seen both of their perspectives.
Yes.
So what? That's the guy who works for Ethan Hawke, not killing Ethan Hawke and then killing him later. Well, no, he doesn't work for Ethan Hawke. He works for Khonshu.
He works for Khonshu.
Why doesn't he not just kill him? You know what? Show just went down a notch.
I think. Well, I think he was about to kill him, but then Mark took back over. That's
No,
what
he was on the ground and Mark was away from him. If you remember right, he's like on the ground,
Oh, yeah.
bleeding from the head.
Yeah. No, he's on the ground. No, I'm talking. So before it gets into the that sequence, it's like Ethan Hawke is like basically like beating him with the staff or whatever. He's on the ground, and then he blacks out, and he wakes up, and everybody around him is dead except Ethan. And he's broken Ethan Hawke's staff, and he's about to like kill him with it. I think.
No, I thought he was bleeding from the head.
I don't think so. I don't think he like maybe a little bit, but I don't think it was like he actually had an axe wound or anything. I don't know.
Whatever, it doesn't matter.
So, yeah.
You know what? I didn't like it.
Okay.
It was. I didn't dislike it. It was fine.
It was fine.
I guess a way to kill 6 hours.
Over several weeks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or like 1 week.
Or 1 week. Yeah. So there was that. So we solved
Speaking
the
of open wounds in heads.
yes, and solving mysteries. I haven't seen like you just showed me an image from it.
That's all they've shown.
They haven't shown any trailers or anything?
No, they apparently only showed it behind closed doors.
Okay.
Which is always a great sign.
So it's part of like probably HBO is probably showing their TV upfronts, and they're like, "Hey, is the animation done for this show?" And they're like, "No, but we have like an image and stuff we could show you." I'm betting that might not even be in the show. That could be like a storyboard even.
I don't know.
Who knows? But it seems like it's all right. Well, Velma is the show that's coming out, and originally I had heard this not as an animated series, that they were going to do a live action version of this, like a Velma TV show.
That's not what this is.
That's not what this is. They were gonna. The original plan. This was probably years ago. I'd heard started off as a Velma TV show, and she meets Daphne, and it's like they solve mysteries together, and then it was going to be like a Scooby-Doo goofy like adventure road kind of thing with Shaggy and Scooby driving across the country, blah blah blah, and they pick up Freddy or something like that, and then they end up at Velma and Daphne's college or something to solve like a mystery that they had heard about there, and that's when the whole thing kind of gets put together in that way. And then from that, once those two shows kind of collided, then they would do like basically a third show, which would be Mystery Incorporated. This seems like they're gonna maybe do that, but they're probably testing the waters first as an animated show with Velma.
As an M-rated, MA-rated
Yes.
animated show.
Yes, which they've done in the past. So I was just talking to Bob about Harley Quinn, which I think is a great show. I can't wait for the new season. It's coming sometime. Animation takes a while. But
There's no middle ground with cartoons coming back, is there? Because you have like your sanitized, we'll call it Looney Tunes,
right.
where they're not allowed to hurt each other.
Yes.
And then you have this,
right.
which is the complete opposite direction.
Right. It is kind of like a thing. It's like they either want to make it really for kids or really for more adults. Like you don't get like Batman the Animated Series but that is actually coming back in a weird way. Like those creators have come back together to do another Batman show, I think produced by J.J. Abrams. So we'll see. But it's Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, going back. They're doing the whole Batman show, and I don't know if it's called The Batman or something along those lines, or the Batman Chronicles. I don't know.
Chronicles of Riddick.
Chronicles.
Escape from Batman.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
I would watch that.
I would watch that too. Vin Diesel, Batman.
No, Vin Diesel's Harley.
Yes. But he only says, "I am Groot," the whole time.
Yeah, let's do it.
Like, Harley, what are you talking about? But, so I think that's what, I mean, we can't really tell anything from just an image.
We can tell it's not for kids.
We can tell it's not for kids, which seems a little strange. Because they just did like a CG animated movie. It was very much for, like, kids.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody watched it.
Yeah. I think it did, but actually no. I think it did, like, okay because it was during pandemic, and I think a lot of people paid for, because I think they had it up on
like
Amazon first or something like that,
yeah,
or iTunes.
It was only you could pay $20 to watch this with your whole family.
Right.
And there's no coming back from it. There's no refunding.
Right. And I think they did that for a while. I think that's why that movie Trolls did really well. The second Trolls movie. But I think a lot of people were like, yeah, we'll watch the Trolls movie. Here, kids, I'm going to buy the Trolls movie.
It didn't work for Disney. But
No.
I guess because that was like a premium beyond.
It was. Which it's like fine if, like, hey, there's a movie out there. You're going to pay like maybe $20 and then you could watch it, whenever. But when you're already paying for the service and they want to put an additional charge on you to give you the content, I was just like, I don't think that's really going to work for you guys. And it didn't.
Yeah. I think the only successful place they've had it was maybe HBO, but they don't charge more.
They don't.
You get it.
You just get it. Which I was great. I was like, you're going to give me Dune at home, a movie I would go to the theaters to see. Okay. And
now they've learned to delay that.
Yes. Which, yeah. So they did it with the Batman 45 days later. First comes out in theater, then 45 days later it comes out on, you can watch it. You can watch Death of the Nile.
I think that's Hulu.
Well, it's on HBO and Hulu, I think.
Okay. I know Mortal Kombat was day and date digital.
Right. But nobody watched it.
I watched it.
Was it any good?
It was...
Oh, we did talk about this.
It was okay.
Yeah.
It was the closest you can get to making Mortal Kombat make sense, but with a main character that's not anything to do with Mortal Kombat.
Which is, strange that they did that. Because I thought it's like, oh, Liu Kang. Nope, not Liu
just
Kang.
guy.
Just a guy.
Liu Kang's in it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're getting off that. I know we've talked about Mortal Kombat in the past. So you can go back through our other podcasts and find that. But Velma, I don't know if it'll really work as an adult kind of cartoon.
I don't know if you're two big things to introduce your series based on something with 60 years, probably. It's probably been around almost 60 years.
Yeah, it's from the 70s, probably.
70s? Okay, so 50 years, we'll say.
Yeah.
50 years of fans.
Yes.
The first thing you do is make it not for kids, which it always kind of was, with adult joke humor.
Yeah.
Mixed in.
Yeah. I mean, the monsters were always kind of like, some of them were more serious, some of them were kind of just weird things, but they always kind of played it for like actual scares. How the kids reacted was always funny. Scooby and Shaggy made it funny.
But what's the big thing with it? At the end of the day, what is the one consistent thing happening?
They pull off somebody's masks, and it's Mr.
It's all
Jenkins.
harmless. Pulling the mask off, it's over. Like,
Right.
Nobody gets hurt.
Right.
The first thing you say is, hey, this isn't for kids. Hey, it's going to be violent. There's going to be deaths.
Right.
Who's it for?
It is kind of weird that way.
Who's watching? Who's thinking right now, I want to watch a Velma show? Nobody.
I love Velma.
Nobody's thinking that.
Everybody loves Velma. The internet has shown us that people love Velma, and maybe a little bit too much.
Yeah, but that's not what they're going for with this show either.
I know. We'll see. I don't know. That one, I really kind of have to see a trailer for to kind of get a feel for it.
I don't even know. Like,
And this is
she's
something.
probably the third most liked character on the show. So she's got that going for her.
True.
Because, like, nobody's saying, I want to watch a Daphne show or Fred.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch a Scooby or Shaggy show.
Right.
Probably the two of them together.
But this also goes along with, they recently did, what was it? Scooby-Doo Apocalypse, I think it was called. I don't know if you saw this. It was a comic they did. It was a very short series. They took out like different Hanna-Barbera characters and did like weird, interesting stuff with it. Actually, really good. It was kind of like worked. Like they're basically the mystery incorporated in the zombie apocalypse, but it's also kind of like they're not really solving mysteries. They're just trying to like almost survival horror, like Resident Evil ish. But it was actually played pretty well. And Scooby and Shaggy are still kind of like the same kind of characters. They're just funny, but it felt more like probably like something like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but like there's crazy world-ending things happening, but also there's some humor and stuff into it, and it worked really well. I think maybe they're trying to do something like that with this, maybe, but again, I'd want to see a trailer first to kind of see if that's something they're going to go for, like mixing like real scary stuff with like real murders and stuff, but also kind of have the humor in there too. Like do like Xander dates a giant bug lady, but Shaggy dates a giant bug lady.
To just copy episodes of Buffy.
Just copy episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Maybe in a different universe.
Maybe. But speaking of other universes, see what we're doing? Amazing. I can't believe how good we are at this. So we saw a little movie called Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Is it in the multi or just Multiverse of Madness?
No, it's in the Multiverse of Madness. The question is it in, like, is it Doctor Strange in
Okay.
the Multiverse of Madness, or is it saying that he's in the Multiverse of Madness?
Yeah. So, spoilers way ahead of time for this. We're going to spoil the crap out of this movie. The bigger thing I would say about this movie, immediately, you have to watch all the Marvel stuff before, like at least,
right.
Well, not all of it. So you have to watch Spider-Man: No Way Home to know what's going on, why this stuff is kind of happening a little bit. But the bigger thing is WandaVision. Like this,
I mean, you don't really, because there's no bleeding effect. You don't have to watch Spider-Man.
That's true, but they do mention that, and they also kind of like it also feeds into the reaction that he gets from the Illuminati, where it's like, hey, you're just, you almost ruined the multiverse or had a multiverse incursion to have, so some kid could fix his college application. Like, but it's that, but also to explain Wanda as the villain in this, which honestly, some people have said this is kind of like a character assassination on her part, because I think at the end of it, she seemed like she was in a better place, but then I guess if you're putting the Darkhold in here, and that's kind of what they're saying influenced her, I'm not exactly sure. I don't know, but definitely that you would have to have watched at least a little bit of WandaVision to kind of get what all this stuff was.
I've got a problem with one major thing.
Okay, go ahead.
She wouldn't be after her kids.
True.
Every aspect of this, like, movie makes no sense. Because she would have been after Vision, not her kids.
That's true too. And funny, another thing that he didn't show up in this at all.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, she made up her kids.
Yeah, she could just do it again.
Yeah, why couldn't she just do it again? Like, she literally, like, she took over a town and just made kids. You can make kids. Like, she wants, I don't, It's just like, well, she could just
I like the way you said that. You can just make
make
kids.
kids. You can just make them.
Yeah.
But it is kind of like a weird thing. Like, why go through all the trouble of just doing that again? But also, I think she had kind of moved. I don't know. It's a weird kind of like, I don't know if it really plays that perfectly after seeing WandaVision that she would go back and try to ruin somebody else's like life, which is basically her, to take the kids. It's wild. I don't know. But that aside, this is like Sam Raimi comes back uh, to do more superhero movies
in a completely different way.
in a completely different way. And some people could really argue he was the one who kind of set this whole thing in motion, really. Because without the success of the first Spider-Man, which I believe also was produced by Kevin Feige, and some of the other ones too, I think he had started with X-Men, and then he kind of got into like these ones. Um, it really doesn't become what the MCU eventually like. They build off that kind of momentum because at that point, Marvel Studios was almost like bankrupt as a company, and then Spider-Man was kind of like their big push back into like making movies again.
But that it's a completely different comic book movie
Oh yes, much different.
because the Spider-Man movies feel almost old comic-y,
Right.
right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Whereas this is dark horror. Like this is the furthest they've gone in any direction like this.
Yeah, I'd have to. Yeah, even WandaVision has a little bit of it, but
Barely.
not as dark as they go in this. Like there's definitely parts, and I almost wish there was just a little bit more of Sam Raimi's influence on certain things. I was like, oh, they put this stuff in here because that's what Marvel wanted. I almost kind of wish they would have kind of like let him off the reins just a little bit more because there's stuff in this that is like, you know, Bruce Campbell shows up
Yeah.
and the hand like the zombie version of Strange with a demon witch cloak, and there's parts where Wanda's attacking the magic students and crawling through the mirror. I was like, this feels so Evil Dead. It's insane. Like, there's some great stuff like that. I almost wish they had done a little bit more. Like the whole thing where they pop the eyeball out. That got such a reaction. I loved it. I was like, yes, please, more of this weird stuff.
Yeah, it's wild that that's almost the way this movie sort of starts
Right.
because you see what this thing's capable of,
Yes.
and then it shows up in, I guess, the main MCU reality,
Right.
that universe,
Right.
and then you have your first bit of super violence in this movie.
Yes. Really, I was just like, oh, okay, we're gonna go that far.
But before that, the stuff you see, when he takes apart that bus, Doctor Strange,
Yeah.
and you see like what is it, Escher? Like
Yes.
Escher stylings of the bus parts
Yes.
in the air. It's
Amazing.
wild and for no reason.
Yes. Except that it's fun and
Yeah.
just like something. Yeah, it's like if you could do crazy magic, why wouldn't you do this kind of stuff?
I almost think that they learned to step back a bit with this because you know that Disney in general,
Yes.
but in terms of Marvel and in terms of Star Wars, they've lost directors
Yeah.
because they wouldn't take a backseat to it.
Right.
Right? They had what's his name?
Well.
Oh my gosh,
well-
the director of Hot Fuzz.
Oh. I was gonna say Simon Pegg, but it's not. It's. Oh man, now that's gonna kill me.
Well, he was directing Ant-Man
Yes.
and notoriously left. Edgar Wright, thank you.
Yes. Edgar Wright.
Yeah,
Our research department just gave us that.
That's
Thank
right.
you. But yes, Edgar Wright,
yeah, he left and got replaced by Adam McKay, right?
Adam McKay,
Like
and
halfway through.
I think Adam McKay wrote the second one
Yeah.
and directed it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what would that movie have turned out to be with Edgar Wright's influence throughout the whole thing?
Right.
I feel like that would have come out more like a Thor Ragnarok than anything else because his music or his movies are so tied into music.
Yes, and I think also the way he directs certain shots would have been much much different. Like even like I remember his whole thing for Ant Man, like he really like they still used his script. I don't think they even changed that much on it. But he did like a test footage shot of what he would have done for the Ant Man thing. It's I think it was up online for a little while, and it's like the whole like him shrinking down, running along the gun, like all that stuff. They used parts of that in the movie, but I think that it would have been even there would have been even crazier stuff. I think it would have been a more unique movie than something that's like it was good, it was funny, but also I feel like it still fits just within like how they shot a lot of their other movies too. Like I think he would have just done something that was a little more unique. And like Sam Raimi in this, I think there's definitely things in this that are more his style and more unique in that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I completely agree. I
Right.
just I hope they're more willing to do that.
In the future, yes.
Yeah, I hope it's not just established directors because they get these great creative minds
Right.
and then they put out this formulaic nonsense or just boring movies.
Yeah.
Eternal.
Oh
Sorry.
man, Eternals. Oh man, Eternals. That was them trying to launch basically like doing the Justice League movie, where it's like you're trying to introduce too many characters at once. It just doesn't work. You need to focus on a couple of them, and then make Eternals 2, and then introduce a few more. Yeah, that was. I think that they kind of lost the thread in that one. But this
Still
one,
can't name three characters in that movie.
um, Jon Snow.
Yeah, Jon Snow, of course.
Yes, and
Blade.
the lady from Crazy Rich Asians.
That's her name.
Yes,
Yeah, of course.
yeah,
Legally.
legally. I know her. Astrid was her name in Crazy Rich
That
Asians.
doesn't help us.
I know.
I like how memorable that movie is for you, but not this
I know. It was a good movie. That's why they're I think doing two more. Yeah. So to get back to this, but that is also so the guy who directed Doctor Strange, the first Doctor Strange, was going to do the sequel, and he left because of artistic differences or whatever. Just basically like he was like, I can't keep fighting the studio over how I want to make this because he was like, I really want to make it more scary. And I think Sam Raimi kind of is like the more balanced version of that, where he can make it scary, but also he knows like the superhero movie kind of stuff, and he knows how to work with studios. So he probably got away with a little bit more on this because they knew he was a sure bet. He's like he made 3 Spider-Man movies, and
two were good.
2 were good, and that third one gave us the dancing Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire, my favorite meme. So
It's pretty good.
yeah, they even reference it in uh, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which was
Yeah.
great. Even he admits, like, he's like, yeah, they were just like, they were like, hey, throw in this character and this character and this character, and he was like, I really don't want to do that, so I think I'm just gonna do this. More dancing. Kids love it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. No, yeah. But this this one is kind of like it's a good movie, but it is very much a Marvel movie. Like I liked it because I know the other Marvel stuff. If you were just some person who just walked in on this and were like, "Hey, I just feel like seeing an action movie or a scary movie or whatever," this probably wouldn't make that much sense to you. In certain ways, you'd be like, "Okay," but you might be lost on a lot of other things.
Maybe. I don't
Maybe.
know. I don't know because I've seen them.
I know it's kind of like hard when you've actually seen everything.
But I would say like this whole movie starts as a some sort of weird fever dream.
Yeah,
I don't see why it couldn't like you can't look at that as an outsider and think, oh, that's a witch, that's a wizard. Let's
yeah,
go.
yeah, exactly. But I almost wish they had gone crazier. Um, well, no, like so they go through like a couple of multiverse things. There's the one shot that I love the most was when they're just falling through dimension after dimension after dimension, and you kind of get like quick things. I would have loved like if they did that a little bit more, but spent some time in one and then jumped to the other one and then jumped to the other one. It was it was it had a lot of good stuff to it. I think that I would have liked to seen a few more multiverses, or like something where they pass like Loki or something like that, or Kang in one dimension, because Kang's apparently out there, because that's from the Loki series. We found that that's going to be happening more. So I don't know.
Eh.
Yeah.
I think they're doing a season 2 of that. So
Yeah, they already said that that's definitely coming back.
that'll probably just be that.
It might be.
He might not be the big bad. They're saying.
Well, Ant-Man 3 is, I think it's called the Multiverse Mania or something like that, which Kang is going to show up in that. So, I don't know if they're building him up or something, or
Maybe they meant Krang.
Krang would be amazing, and then the Ninja Turtles show up.
Yeah, let's go.
That could be another universe. That was a weird thing that they named. It's like, oh, the universe you come from is the 616 universe. So that is a weird Easter egg that the Marvel comics, like the regular continuity, that is the 616 universe. I don't know why they wanted to include that in the movie version, but it's kind of like a weird setup saying like, hey, this is the comic universe, when we kind of know it's not really. I don't know. It's strange.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's Doctor Strange.
It's Doctor Strange. They could have named like any other numbers, like, oh, your universe, blah 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 blah. But I guess they wanted to say, oh no, this is the comic universe, and I'm like, but it's not really.
I don't know. Maybe they'll probably give her own movie, the America Chavez,
I think they're
or
well,
show.
I think they're trying to build her the Young Avengers universe kind of thing. So that's where Hawkeye, the new Hawkeye, comes in, Kate Bishop, and Miss Marvel, and maybe the kids, Wanda's kids, because they do have powers and they are on the Young Avengers. They could kind of get in there. I don't know. Like it seems like they might eventually do that.
I enjoyed one of these characters so far.
Okay.
2, I guess she's fine.
Yeah,
America Chavez is fine.
she does good, but I have a feeling it's going to be her shows. If they do her show, which I imagine they will, it's going to be like, hey, I want to go find my parents after I threw them into another dimension
Accidentally.
accidentally.
She didn't mean it.
Yeah, and then she
I mean, are they
also
gonna
got sucked
explain
in.
that she was created? Are they even going to do that? Because this is a thing, right? She's created.
I think so.
She is.
Yeah, I forget.
I did my research on her because I had
Oh.
no idea who she was. I was
Okay.
like, is she the new Captain America? Because
No.
well, she's got the
She-
first shots of her were like the flag on her jacket,
Right.
and a star on her back, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
is Falcon already getting replaced?
No. She just, I don't know. That's like always been her iconography.
Oh, she's America.
Yeah.
America Chavez.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
it does. And she punches stars into things.
Yeah, as you would.
I didn't like. I figured they would do a little bit more with her, action-wise, but she didn't really get to do too much in this yet. But that's okay. She'll get there. Like punching holes in reality. But yeah, there was some other good stuff in this. Like we said, Wanda is the big bad. They have a huge battle at the beginning where she's whispering into people's ears, and
Yeah, that's like straight into the comics.
yeah, and they reference that in like other movies too. But also, I'm trying to think like they have a Minotaur guy at the magic school. They don't say who it is or whatever. It's like, yeah, just a Minotaur wizard.
Who dies and then isn't dead, I
No,
guess?
I don't think he died. He's like one of the few ones that lives, which I thought was great. I was like, yeah, why not? Weird magic place. I wish there was a few more that were like weird animal things. But yeah,
With no explanation.
with no explanation. Just like there's a spider person walking around. It's like just has like or a centaur, just randomly.
I don't know about that. We got the Harry Potter cinematic universe.
Dude.
For now, until it gets canceled. I don't know.
They've already canceled the 2 sequels or whatever.
Oh, there's no more Fantastic Beasts?
I think that's it. This last one was the last one.
So they're not going to finish whatever that story. I haven't seen it,
I haven't seen
but
it
I
either.
imagine it's not a conclusion.
I guess they saw that people weren't really pre-ordering the tickets or whatever, so they were just
Well, it's
like,
already out.
I know, and they just saw that like people really weren't going for it, so I think they canceled the two sequels.
Well, they have a lot of negative press right now, too.
Yeah, mainly because of Ezra Miller, but
Well, yeah, he's just beating people up for no reason.
and yeah, I think he just and he's got like also the DC movies.
But I wasn't just saying him. Like, you got the J.K. Rowling stuff. Too.
Yeah, yeah. There's all that stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently the video game they made wasn't very good either.
It's not out.
Well, I guess there's like some. Well, I forget which. There's one that's out.
Okay, well, there's the Hogwarts Legacy, which is coming
Right.
out the end of the year. It's not going to.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They've shown
I think
like
that's
nothing.
I think that's what people are kind of like saying.
They had like a first look thing that that's going to get delayed. Here's my prediction. All right. Gotham Knights just got a date of October 25th.
Oh,
I
really?
look forward to seeing it in March.
Yes.
And
What is-
Hogwarts Legacy has no date.
What
But
about
that'll
Suicide?
be summer.
And I think Suicide Squad.
That's already
Kills-
2023.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they
delayed
delayed that before they put
Okay.
a date on it.
it? Okay.
Gotham Knights, the original trailer,
Yeah.
they showed it whatever not E3 was that year.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, it looks like it's almost there.
If you watch it, at the end of that original trailer, it says 2021.
Okay.
It's not going to make 2022.
No.
Um,
They pushed a lot of stuff back to 2023. Like all the movies are like Aquaman 2,
yeah,
Black
they're
Adam,
worried about sales.
and Flash. I think have all been pushed back.
I mean, was anybody hyped for Flash right now?
Oh, Michael Keaton coming back as Batman.
Who's the Flash in it?
Yeah, Ezra Miller.
He's beating people up.
Yeah.
Bars.
I know. But Michael Keaton, man, coming back to play Batman. Maybe more than once.
Yeah,
There's
you
been-
got that. Top Gun's coming out.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
It's just that.
So, but I know we're really getting far afield here, but so Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, it was good.
It was
Really
good? You loved it?
Yeah, I actually think I liked it more than the first Doctor Strange, and that was a tough beat because I really like that one.
That was good. And now that Sam Raimi is now he's kind of closed his Steve Ditko loop. So he did a Spider-Man movie created by Steve Ditko, Stan Lee, and now Doctor Strange created by Steve Ditko and Stan Lee.
It's more a line than a loop.
Yeah. Well, unless they do a new Warriors movie and he can get the other, I think it was Speedball.
Yeah, I can't wait for them to try and justify a guy named Speedball in the MCU.
I will love it. I know you love those new Warrior books.
I do remember them.
Night
from when I was a kid.
Thrasher,
Yeah.
Edgelord. Firestar. What?
Edgelord.
There's no Edgelord.
Yeah, that's his name.
No.
Edgelord.
Night Thrasher, Rage. Trying to think who are the other
They
ones.
tried to bring back New Warriors. They'll never attempt it again.
It was going to be like a TV show.
No, it was going to be a new comic series.
Well, but they actually had a TV show lined up too.
Was that was the one I'm thinking of, right? With the superhero named Safe Space.
Yes.
Okay, just
That was the comic series. I was like, why are you doing this? You have none of the older characters, and these all seem really gimmicky.
The girl with the backpack to anything.
Yeah, I was just like, you're trying to introduce a bunch of characters that nobody cares about.
That got canceled before it came out, right?
Yeah.
Just checking.
Like, it didn't make sense. It was like the old New Warriors introduced new characters.
Snowflake. It was Safe Space and Snowflake.
And somebody, yeah, and also some other weird term. I was just like, oh, this is a bad idea. A really bad idea. But it kind of just, yeah.
It got press.
It got press,
I've heard of it.
and then nothing happened. But the original New Warriors were, it's like, hey, there's a bunch of these, like there's Nova and Speedball, which were characters introduced before, and Namorita, and like all those, and then they also introduced new characters like Night Thrasher and stuff. I think Marvel Boy, or Marvel, or no, Kid Marvel? I forget. Somebody like that.
Marvelous.
And Firestar.
Not Firestarter.
Not
It's a
Firestarter.
different character.
Yeah, from Stephen King. But yeah, I did like Sam Raimi's
Multiverse of Madness.
Multiverse of Madness. Had some great stuff in it. The scene where they're getting chased in the tunnels by Wanda, it felt very like a scary movie kind of like trope or whatever. Like a lot of that stuff. It was good.
Yeah.
All right. But we're wrapping up here. As always, you can find us, Precarious Pixels, #PrecariousPixels. You can find us on Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, and YouTube. You can find me on the Instagrams @TimMartinek. You can find Bob.
I'm on Twitter @BobJMartin with an O instead of an I in Martin.
Okay.
And I'm on Twitter @Martin_Bob.
And I'll try to include all our links in the description below in our YouTube channel if you check that out. And probably some images I'm going to throw up of everything we talked about.
Don't throw up.
Yes, throw up.
Yeah, I
I'm
feel
going
like
to
this is the
throw
first
up.
weird trip you've been on.
I will vomit.
Doctor Strange reference.
Oh man. But yeah, no. I've had a lot of weird trips.
Brought to you by Speedball of the New Avengers.
New Warriors.
New Warriors, that's it. Sorry.
Young Avengers, New Warriors. It all works.
Secret Warriors.
Secret Warriors. They could do it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to with Secret
Add
Invasion.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. into the MCU.
Exactly. Might as well. Make that another multiverse. They had the Darkhold in it.
Did they?
They did. And
I
the
stopped
Inhumans.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get into maybe one time we'll talk about the whole Illuminati, John Krasinski of it all.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Captain Carter. R.I.P. Maybe. At least that version.
Yeah, I don't know. She's pretty awesome. She and I guess him, because we haven't really seen his version of Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them come back. I don't really care about Captain Marvel sucks no matter what. I guess hitting her with a statue kills her. It doesn't matter who she is.
I was just like, it was weird. I was like, what's going on with
They
this?
gave her a weakness.
Which was strange. I was like, why?
Punch her.
Yeah. I was like, that doesn't make sense, but okay.
And then who was the fourth again? Oh yeah, it was Black Bolt.
And Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
Did love the 90s, like, that little music sting, and he was in the yellow chair from the 90s cartoon.
How cold is that, though? This is the last thing I'm going to say about this, but how cold is it? You got a guy who's paralyzed from the neck down, you're going to break his neck.
Yeah.
What a meanie.
And you know that's the third time he's died as Professor X?
I believe it. Yeah.
Because X-Men 3 and
We don't talk
Logan
about X-Men 3.
and now this. Is that, or maybe, did he die in Days of Future Past? I forget.
Probably.
Yeah, maybe 4 times. Too many times. Stop killing Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, he didn't deserve it.
He didn't. All right, we're gonna end there. But we'll talk to you next time. As always, we're Precarious Pixels. Take care.
Have a good one.
Bye.